Hey, I'm Paul with RackOutfitters.com, here to show you the Thule ProRide 598003. This is a upright bicycle carrier for Thule crossbars. Here we have it mounted onto Thule AeroBlade crossbars in the T-Track. This is an upright carrier which does not require removal of the front wheel, so it makes it very convenient and quick to load and unload a bike. Very streamlined design that offers excellent aerodynamic performance. So I'll go ahead and remove it from the roof rack so we can demonstrate this mounting method. The T-Track mounting method is very quick and easy to remove simply by flipping up 2 levers in the front and 1 lever in the back. I'll take off, in this case, the edge bars have a cap on the end, so I'll take those off. I'll remove a rubber strip in the back. The rubber strips do require cutting. As you can see here, we've removed a section to accommodate the bike carrier in the front as well as in the rear. If you want to put the rack back to its original state, you just save those rubber pieces and replace them, and that'll prevent the wind noise. Okay, so if we step over here, I'll show you some of the finer details of this particular design. So as an upright carrier, it does not require removal of the front wheels, so that is convenient, especially if you have a bicycle with a front wheel that's difficult to remove. A bolted on front wheel, perhaps a mountain bike that has through axles, that type of thing. It allows for a quick mounting of the bicycle. So another key feature that makes this rack unique is that it has all the functions that allow it to that you use to secure the bike to the carrier are accessed down low. So when you're ready to raise this arm, which grips to the down tube of your bicycle frame, you just simply grab this lower lever here. When you're ready to use the clamp to grip to the frame, you turn the knob, and that grips to the frame. And then when you're ready to release the bike, there's a push button, and that allows you to release the bicycle frame. Also, this has full locking capability. Locks are sold separately, and they're sold separately in match sets. In many cases, people buy these carriers in sets of 2 or more. And when you do that, it's possible to get a match set of keys. If you're just buying one, then you would just need 2 lock cylinders. And these are what a lock cylinder looks like. A lock cylinder will plug into the lock housing here, and this will lock the bicycle to the carrier. And then here you can see is another housing which, when you close that lever and lock it, that prevents the carrier from being released from the crossbar. So it offers excellent security, very convenient, and also nice when you get multiple carriers. You can potentially have all your carriers on the same key, and furthermore you can have your carriers match any other Thule locking carrier. So some of the other features of this design: construction is a steel powder-coated support arm, an aluminum powder-coated tray, and engineering-grade plastics for other plastic components. The rear wheel cradle is noteworthy in that it has its own track, which is separate from the track that holds the tray to the back bar. So what that means is that if you need to bring this carrier cradle forward over the top, you can do that, and there's no interference between the two. So that seems like a pretty basic idea, but there are actually a lot of carriers that don't offer that, and if you had to make that adjustment, you'd have to disconnect everything and reconnect it in a different sequence. So that's a very nice, convenient feature. Also, they're using a diagonal strap, which is found to offer more security than just a simple strap going over the top of the rim. Also, that strap is a strong buckle ratcheting strap, so it allows you to micro adjust the tightness, and when you're ready to release, you just push, and then that allows it to release. This carrier has, as we showed, mounting hardware to connect to the Thule T-Track AeroBlade load bars, but it also has, as you see here, mounting hardware to connect to Thule's standard SquareBars. So both are included, so whichever Thule bar that you have, you do have the hardware needed to secure it to the bars properly. Also, the other feature is that this design allows for quick easy adjustment to be positioned on the driver's side or the passenger side. Out of the box, it'll be always set up for the passenger side. That's typically your default position. That way when you're loading and unloading a bike, you have that option to load and unload from the curb side if you're parallel parked, giving you some extra height and safety for not being out in traffic. But if you do need to mount one on the driver's side, it has a simple, clearly laid out a set of fasteners. These two fasteners just are turned from the locked to the unlocked position, and then you can reposition this in the opposite direction for driver's side use. Also, when you do that, you would also slide off these and flip them on the tray, and that's just, again, a simple push button release. You remove that, slide this off, turn it around, and slide it back on again. So very quick and easy to do those adjustments for this carrier. So I'll go ahead and show, we talked about the locks. Let's go ahead and show how those install. So there's actually two methods of installation. There is a Thule control key, and that's used definitely if you ever have to remove a lock cylinder, but to install a lock cylinder is not required. So what you do is you match the widest tumbler, otherwise known as a wafer, into the cylinder, where you'll see there's a ramp, and you just give it a quarter turn and it'll engage into that housing. There it is. Okay, so now it's engaged, and that wafer holds the cylinder into place. The only way to get it out would be when you use this tool, and that's only that will only work whenever it's in the locked position, unlocked position, that is. Okay, so I'll go ahead and install this one in the more traditional way, is just simply insert it and hold with your finger. So two ways to install those, one way to remove those. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and reinstall this onto the crossbars, and then also load up a bike to show you the method of loading a bike. Okay, so when you're installing this carrier, it's best to start at the rear. Make sure that your lever is in the open position, and then guide your square-headed bolt into the T-track. Then at the front, I'm holding this rear hardware while I slide the carrier back to be in alignment with the front mounting hardware, the front T-track. And then I'm, from the top side, angling the square head bolt to get it in alignment with the track. There are, you can see perhaps the square keyway there that needs to be over the top of the Thule T-track. So that's fully engaged and ready to snap down. Okay, so all you got to do is get the right tension by turning the lever, and you get a good firm grip. Okay, that's on there good and tight. Same thing on the rear. And I'll reinsert the exposed, cover that exposed T-slot, and close my cover. Okay, so now it's installed, and if you purchased locks for the system, now would be the time where you would lock the carrier to the crossbar, and so that prevents this lever from releasing. Even if someone were to release the other levers, it still wouldn't allow the carrier to come off the bar. Okay, and then next we'll go ahead and get the rack ready to accept loading a bike. To do that, you want to release the front and rear wheel strap, and then also you want to rotate this arm up to an estimated position that will be approximately above the chainring but below the a water bottle cage if your bike is equipped with a water bottle cage. So basically right above the chainring of your frame, and once you have loaded a bike one or two times, you'll start to remember exactly what that angle is. It's not imperative, but it does help when you're loading and unloading. Okay, so of course this rack can accommodate road bikes and mountain bikes, even fat tire bikes, when you purchase a fat tire bike cradle set, we can show you that in a moment. Matter of fact, let's just mention that right now. This is a accessory that's available to replace the stock wheel cradles. This one's designed for fat tire bikes. So the rack can accommodate thin road bike tires like you see with this bike, standard mountain bike, and then if you want to carry a fat tire bike, you'll want this wider cradle along with a longer strap. So that's a separate product available as an accessory to this carrier. Okay, so back to loading the bike. When you're ready to load a bike, one of the key things that can help to make it easier to load a bike is bend down, grab the lowest part of the frame and fork that give you good stability when you hold the bike. And we'll make sure you're aiming in the correct direction that the rack is, the carrier is positioned. So I'll hold it like that, and when you hold it like that, the bike is already fairly high. Next, what I'll do is I'll get the bike up over my head and make a smooth step up onto the rear door threshold. And then I'm going to get that front wheel in place, rear wheel in place. At this point, the rack will provide some stability so I can let go of one end of the bike and orient the pedals so that they're not in conflict with the this arm. And then I'm looking for the best positioning. So I need to roll this back a little bit and maneuver it to get it right where I want it. And then I can start bringing that arm to where it's lined up directly over the chainring on the bicycle. So another nice feature on this carrier is that it has this ribbed rubber contact point, and that's going to give you a very firm connection to the bike, but it won't allow it to over tighten. Also, as we mentioned before, this turn knob is designed to where it's fully tightened. It won't allow it to it stops, so you won't be over or under tightened. Next, we'll go ahead and do the rear wheel, and then the front wheel. Oh, sorry. Scratch that and then reverse. Front wheel, then rear wheel. Okay, now we got the bike fully secured. Those are all the key features. And speaking of keys, let's go ahead and lock. If you have locks, that would be the time when you can lock this. That doesn't allow release of the carrier, so you have a excellent security. So these are all the key features of the ProRide upright bicycle carrier from Thule. I'm Paul with RackOutfitters.com, and thanks for watching.